Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm KP, and as you can tell from the thumbnail and the title of this video, we are entering a new chapter in life. Now that sounds a little bit dramatic, but it's not at all. I am just entering my booktube era. If you've been following me for a while, you've been seeing my crochet vlogs, sewing vlogs, and just my journey of being a small business owner and having an Etsy shop. But it's time to wind that down a little bit. Actually, just wind it down completely. So I'm in the process of shutting down my shop and just focusing more on my main hobby, my number one hobby, and my first love, reading. I've been a watcher of the booktube community and watching the videos for like 3 years at this point. So consider this my introduction to the booktube community as a creator. And there is a booktube newbie tag where there's questions you can answer so you guys can get a feel of what I read, my reading habits, styles, and I'll talk a little bit about what kind of videos I'll be making moving forward. Let's get into it. I had to write down all these questions because there's no way I would remember all of them. But number one is, why did you start this channel? Well, as I just explained, I actually started it to showcase my crocheting and sewing and show you guys my journey as being a small business owner. But now I want to shift over to reading and books because I want to just talk about books and what I'm reading with other people and learn about what you're reading. I'm all about community and just sharing the love of reading. Reading is fundamental. We all should be doing it. I'm just excited to share my thoughts on the books that I've been reading and the books I'm excited to read in the future. Okay, second question. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? That's a weird question for me for some odd reason. I think that my experience reading mostly mysteries and thrillers and also minoring in criminal justice in college somehow qualifies me to solve these murders. Spoiler alert, I'm not that good at it. So I think that's something fun that I can also bring to the channel. I see people doing that sometimes, but I think I want to make that a regular thing. Question 3, what are you most excited for with this channel? Honestly, I'm just excited to talk to you guys about books, seeing if you've read the same books and seeing if you have a different perspective than me. I don't mind when I read a book and I love it and then someone else is like, no, I did not like it because of X, Y, and Z, or vice versa. I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on what I'm reading and even get your suggestions of books to read based on what you see that I do like to read. Question number 4, why do you love reading? I don't know, I just love being immersed in another world. Sometimes our reality can be so chaotic and you need a bit of escape from it. I've always loved stories and the magic of just making stuff up in your head and then putting it on paper and it actually being good. Like, it's just a peek into someone else's imagination and I love that. Number 5 is, what are your favorite books? I have a few of them here. I don't have all of them. I think, funny enough, the mysteries and thrillers are the ones I don't have. I have them, but I have like either the ebook or the audiobook. This is actually going to be a mix of genres. I narrowed it down to 6 because I simply cannot narrow it down to 1. We have Sula by Toni Morrison, the queen. I swear she is the greatest writer. I love her writing so much. I read Sula in college as required reading and wrote a paper on it, and I love this book. Next is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I read the book right before the movie came out or either right after. It was like around the same time, but this sticks with me. It's so emotional and I'm not an outwardly emotional person, so it's kind of surprising when I tell people that this is one of my favorite books, but it is. Next we have a poetry book, Helium by Rudy Francisco. Now all of his books are in my favorites. He's probably one of my favorite poets, at least alive ones. Love his writing so much. And lastly, of the physical books, I have Friends and Lovers by Eric Jerome Dickey. Now this is, I don't know, black romance, black contemporary fiction. I absolutely love Eric Jerome Dickey. It hurts my heart every day that I will not get a new book from him because he has passed on. He's one of my favorite writers. I actually have a collection starting of all of his books, but I believe this is the first book I read from him and really fell in love. I watched my aunt read his books as I was growing up and then I eventually got into them. So this book for sure is really special to me. And then for my mysteries that I don't have, And Then There Was None by Agatha Christie. That's the one I'm actually getting in the mail, I think, next week. And of course, it's Agatha Christie. It was the first book I read by her. I read it in 8th grade, and it was my introduction into the mystery genre outside of like The Adventures of Mary Kate and Ashley. And Then There Were None is a really, really good mystery. I was hooked. And when I got to the end, the reveal, I was shocked. I mean, 13-year-old me was like, what? I need to read more of these. So that's definitely a favorite. And this last book just got into my favorites list last year. It is Look Closer by David Ellis. I'm going to do a video of all of my 5-star mystery and thrillers, so I'll talk about that book more in depth. But the way I was addicted to this book and just needed to know how it was going to end, it was absolutely perfect. And it's a revenge story, and your girl loves a revenge story. Even though it was long for the typical mystery or thriller book, I was hooked, and I actually want more. Like, I need more of that story still because it is perfection. Question number 6. Challenges I'll face. Editing. Editing, that was my struggle when I was making crocheting and sewing vlogs. I do not enjoy the editing process. It's another beast. And hopefully these videos are easier to edit because a lot of them will just be sit down talking videos as opposed to vlogs. However, I think I'll still be struggling just a bit to get that done. Number 7, where do I read? Mostly in bed. When I'm winding down my day at night, it's like a little treat after working all day and just doing other adulting things. Sometimes if I have extra time after work, I will read on my futon in my office, or I don't know, go to the library or a cafe and read. But 9 times out of 10, we're reading in bed. Number 8, when did I start reading? I've been obsessed with reading ever since I learned how to read. So since I was 4, I do remember the excitement of going to get books from the library started when I was in 1st grade. I had a teacher, Miss Jackson. She would take us to the public library that was right across the street from our school. I think it was Monday. We would go get a book on Monday. She would let us browse and pick out a book or two, and she made sure we all got library cards. Like, I still have that same library card. She made sure we got library cards, and we would read them throughout the week, either during our like silent reading time or while like everyone else is reading their books. She would call you up one by one and you would read to her so she could make sure like you know how to read and would help you wherever you're struggling. And I didn't really like that teacher all that much, but I will commend her for that. Like, doing that and going every week, and that excitement of going to get a new book and returning your old ones and just reading new stories, that ignited something in me. And I still go to the library and just browse for hours, just looking at all the different books and leaving with way too many. 9, favorite genres. Kind of already spoiled this for you guys, but I read mostly mysteries and thrillers. I'll read sci-fi if it's like a sci-fi thriller. I love those. Poetry, I'm a big poetry girl. I do write poetry as well, so that's always going to be at my core, like one of my favorites, but I probably won't talk about that too much on here. I occasionally read romance. I will probably read anything Black fiction. It is what it is. I did not have a lot of Black authors to read when I was younger. They were far and few in between. Like, off the top of my head, I can only think of like 2 or 3 that I was reading. And now we have so many. In my opinion, it's still not enough in comparison to what the majority is. So I try to support Black authors as much as I can and read whatever they're putting out. Not so much in the fantasy genre because I'm not a fan of fantasy, but I'll read it if it has a mystery or like thriller component. And the last question is, show your book collection. All right, this is it. It's not much. I'll kind of give you guys a little tour. So this section right here up until like right here are poetry books. This is some Black nonfiction. I have like some James Baldwin. This book, I'm lying, or I'm telling the truth but I'm lying, or is it I'm lying but I'm telling the truth? It is such an interesting cover because you can read it either way. By Bassie I'm not even gonna try and mess up your name, girl. But this was a memoir written really well. So I have some just like non-fiction books here. I do have celebrity memoirs in my living room as decoration, so you don't see those here. These are my books with pretty covers, even though you can't see them. They're mostly YA. Actually, I think all of them are YA. YA books have such pretty covers. I mean, this one's my favorite. Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, a fave. And I haven't read the Gilded ones yet, but I'm obsessed with the cover. Here is my Eric Jerome Dickey collection that I'm starting. And then we have some Zane books. That's a real throwback for us black folk. Some Terry McMillan. So those are some like author collections I have. And then here is the rest of just all of the black authors that I have. And then starting here is my YA books. Y'all, look at this copy of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. I believe this is the first book that I owned. And where's the back? I don't even have the full book because this is it. So I need to get another copy of this. But I refuse to let this go because it's the first book that I think I bought with like allowance. We have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. We have 2 of the books here. I think I have the 3rd book on ebook. And y'all, I don't know if y'all remember this book, but this is also like a mystery, YA mystery book from early 2000s. I Tell You I Love You, But Then I Have to Kill You by Ali Carter. I wonder if she's still writing because those books were good. And you can't see this bottom shelf down here, but I do have the full Maximum Ride collection, like 1 through I think 9. I have all 9 books. I haven't read all 9, but this was maybe the 2nd book I bought with my money as a child, and I was obsessed with the series. I think I read the first 2 or 3 books as a child, and then I could never find the rest of them. So this is sci-fi, fantasy, mystery, thriller. It's like all the genres seems like, but this is such a good series. At least the first few books were. And the rest of the books are mostly other authors, mystery, thrillers. Actually, they all are. Some of them are sci-fi. Like this, The Girl Who Could Move Poopy with Her Mind. This is more sci-fi, but it felt thrillery to me. I have the first 2 books in the series. And then I have Game of Thrones. Have I read it? No, but I have it because I love the show and I said I was going to read it. It's been quite a few years since I said that. And then I'll even show you my favorite horror book. Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. This was insane. This was an insane book. It's short. It's a novella, but it's the most insane thing that I've ever read. It was so unhinged. I guess I can show you some other mysteries and thrillers I have. Example, Falling by T.J. Newman. This is a 5-star read for me. Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Reborn. Oh, I haven't read this yet, but This Is How You Lose the Time War. I bought this for my birthday last year and I still haven't read it. I have the 2nd book in the Finley Donovan series. I don't think I have the 1st book. And then I just ordered, I think, the 4th book. I have the 3rd. No, I ordered the 5th book. I don't even know where we are in the series. I need to read the last 2 that are actually released. But I have a couple of them on ebook. But I know I don't have the 1st one at all. So I need to get that. And the one classic that I have is The Great Gatsby. I love this book. We read this in high school and I was obsessed. Okay, that is all of the questions. Let's talk about some things that you can expect from me on this channel. Reading wrap-ups. I'm going to tell you every month what I've been reading and how I felt about them. Some reading vlogs, books that I'm anticipating that are new releases. I think that actually will be one of my next couple of videos that I'll be doing. My next video will actually be me talking about all of the mysteries and thrillers that I've rated 5 stars. So we'll go through all of those. I think it's a very lengthy list. I think it's 16 or 17 books. And let's talk about what I am currently reading. I don't know if you can see this, but A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. I don't even know who it was by. I've just been reading it. I'll talk about that in my November wrap-up. I'm 70% the way through this. Alright, and I think that wraps it up for today. Make sure you give this a like and subscribe if you're new here. And let me know in the comments what you're currently reading. I'm curious to see what everyone else is reading. I'll let you know if I've read them or if they're on my very, 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 very long TBR. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!